Okay, Battlefield of Eternity, guys. We have the Storm League, and it's a bit confusing because this is a Chinese tournament. Chinese and Korean teams are playing in this one. They call it Storm League, and I'm not 100% certain why exactly that is, because we already have a mode in the game that's called Storm League. The only thing is, I assume that in the Chinese client at least, it has a different name. And therefore, this name makes a little bit more sense. Now, apologies that the sound is missing. I'm not quite sure what exactly happened, but I'm currently on the Chinese server and on a little bit of a different client version here. So I'm not quite sure how that happened. Sound settings are fine, but the game doesn't give me anything. Now, our worst case scenario is that we're going to run through the entire first game without sound. Apologies for that. There's a bit of a price to pay, apparently, to jump onto the Chinese server. But hopefully, a quick restart of Heroes after game number 1 is going to fix this, so it will be kind of interesting. But either way, now that we're heading into our match, so guys, to give you a bit of an idea, we have 8 teams that play in a double elimination system here, and I'm going to try and bring you the Korean and Chinese meta over the next couple of days. So that's pretty much the plan here, so that you guys have a bit of an idea what's being played in Asia right now compared to the European and the North American scene, of course. Now, there's a lot of former HCC players from China and also Korea that are playing this. We already had some of the Korean tournaments just recently, where you've seen that there are also some new names that are emerging. Same, of course, true for China. And as we're heading into Battlefield of Eternity, we have the Space-Time Warriors against a Team LB. And, well, on one hand, already the ban on Stukov, and Nubarak gets eliminated on Battlefield of Eternity as well. Up to this point, at least, some of the bans are still very reminiscent of what we're seeing in the European scene. Then again, seeing an Anduin ban is already a bit on the offside. Now, as we're heading into the first round, there's obviously always the chance that you're going to see a few of the teams, you know, that don't make it into the later rounds, that get eliminated quickly. So I wouldn't put every single pick and ban immediately into focus, but it's still going to be interesting how the meta shifts here. Especially since the last time that we casted a Korean tournament, it also resulted in the European players adapting their own playstyle a bit. Especially Taika started to play a much bigger role in the European scene after the Korean tournament played out, the Fish Cup, and also some of the builds were adjusted. In particular, that's also true for Taika, who then started to pick up Master Assassin, at least a lot of the players did. Now, it's not a talent that you see exclusively on the level 4 for him, but you see it every now and then. One thing that apparently still stays true, and that is the high priority on Malfurion. And that was something we could observe in the Korean meta in the former tournament, and it was pretty insane. Malfurion was consistently either banned or early picked, and it was just incredible to also see his win rate just skyrocket. And in this case now, we have Malfurion again as a first pick. I want to say that this also was influenced a little bit in the European side, so we had Malfurion start to shoot up in priority slightly, and he gets played a lot, but it's not that he is just this go-to support that you have to pick every single time. There's a few others that are overall just more important, but obviously still pretty important here too. Now we get Hanzo, we get Urel, and with that already for the Chinese team, for Team LB, we got some damage against the Immortal. Ooh, and an early Greymane, I like that. Now Greymane has made a bit of a resurgence in the European side. The Hardos, for example, started to play a lot of Greymane in the last tournament, in the playoffs of the X-Cup Summer. Muradin, obviously, even on Europe, a pretty high priority right now. Well, maybe not high priority, but a very common frontliner, especially if you see some others banned out. Muradin is always nice. You can come straight through with that Stormbolt, get the first stun connected, make sure that Malfurion or whoever else follows up with it. Stukov is another good follow-up, in this case, of course, banned out. And when it comes to immortal damage, we have Sylvanas now eliminated with Muradin and Greymane plus Malfurion. You already have a pretty good killer composition right at the start. So the Space-Time Warriors, they already have some very, very nice opening draft where they can start to simply take a target down in Worgen form. Greymane is, of course, also fantastic against the Immortal itself. So you have a good asset on your team that can counterplay Hanzo a little bit in terms of how much damage he's going to dish out here. Sylvanas gets banned out, and also Lucio, so a bit of a support choke executed here from the Space-Time Warriors. They have Stukov, Anduin, and Lucio banned out, with Malfurion already picked. That leaves you, of course, a few options for Team LB. One of them still being Deckard Cain. I mean, there's others, don't get me wrong. Brightwing has a huge priority on the European side. Battlefield of Eternity and pretty much any other map is where we see her a lot. But over here, you could also play, of course, Deckard Cain, who has been played a bit more often just recently. We get ETC and we get Li Ming. So the ETC and Urel frontline. ETC has always been a huge asset on Battlefield of Eternity because you're always trying to utilize the stun circles that your Immortal sets up against the opponent by simply pushing a target in or getting a good power slide off to make that happen. So there's a few things that they could do here. And, well, there's our Chen pick, Tychus, and what do we get as the support for the red team? Yeah, Chen and Tychus. Tychus late, but Chen is also interesting, so we're going to see a side laner against the Rel, the goat against the panda. That's going to be the setup, and yeah, could be an interesting game here. Last but not least, what do we get for a support? I'm actually kind of curious if we see something that's a bit more out of the meta for the other side. But yeah, I talked about him earlier. Here's Deckard Cain. Ladies, we're ready for game number 1 in the best of 5 series, the Spacetime Warriors against Team LB. Okay, game number 1, everybody. So, apologies that the overlay is a little bit out, but ooh, we're starting off with the Rel kill here. Yeah, they had to pause the game at the beginning, but now we're back, and as you can hear, we have sound. So, it's a little bit tricky when you're switching servers the way that we just did right now, so unfortunately that resulted in us having no sound for the draft and a few other problems with the overlay and other things. But again, we're going to fix the remaining stuff for game number 2. In the first game, on the other hand, it starts all up with a kill for the blue team. The Spacetime Warriors get the first kill locked in against Urel. She's down. We're also, of course, going to go for proper observer UI next time. I know that the overlay is unfortunately hiding some of the talents here, but again, things will be fixed as we're heading into game number 2, but it's good that we at least have the sound back. It's always kind of strange to me that there are so many things that Heroes just doesn't save whenever you're switching between a region, for example, and in this case, we fell victim to it. Anyways, as we're heading into our first game, we keep in mind that this is an 8-team tournament. We have a double elimination system, and we're having some of the best teams and players from China and Korea playing in this one. But I also gotta say that information that I personally have are rather limited, so I'll try and provide a couple of links and things as well. But especially when it comes to the players, some of them will be using names that are not with Latin letters, and that makes things a little bit tricky. Either way, we already have our rotation of the red team as they're looking to get a kill themselves. And let's see what exactly they can do here. All the way up at the top, Urel, she's obviously back. In this case, she got ganked up early on, so was a bit surprised by everybody from the blue team showing up topside and taking her down. We talked a bit about Master Assassin as a talent for Tychus, and that's currently locked in from our player on the blue team side as a level 4 talent. So yeah, good for him. Then again, with the objective coming up now, both of the teams are also focusing straight up on those camps. And this is something that we might also keep an eye on throughout the tournament. I don't really think that the timings on those camps are going to be very different from the Koreans. But on the European side, of course, you're timing a lot pretty tightly around an objective. I don't really think there's gonna be a lot of difference in what's happening here, but yeah, time will tell. So for now, we have Urel, again a little bit of trouble, but there's no Stormbolt, so no real threat against her. Could have maybe been problematic if that Stormbolt comes and hits, because Tychus was ready and so was Greymane. But as it stands, Tychus has a problem. Gets immediately pushed into the Immortal stun, but there was no follow-up, and it's a race to the halftime show between the two teams. And both of them with fairly even hit points. A slight lead for the blue team as of now. But they are also closing in on the next level. Now we have the camps pushing through the top and the bot lane. And so far nobody really has taken care of it. So we'll see if one of the teams starts to lose some of their structures. But top cap already defeated by the towers alone. Down here the fight is once again breaking out. And Muradin, he's jumping out quickly. Fat Illidan is starting to go straight for Deckard Cain. The old man in trouble gets put into the corner and goes down. Fat Illidan also dead though. Chen dies as Fearless slides in with the power slide, interrupts him on the bottle, and that's an easy kill for them. So they are exchanging hits, but without the support player, it's pretty tricky now for the red team to make a move at this point. So they gotta be super careful with this one. Now, it's getting real close here, and it seems that the red team might just be able to win this one after all. And they indeed do. So they move in, take the Immortal down. They have really good poke with Hanzo and with Li Ming. Reset mechanics obviously kicking in too. The shield isn't really great, but it's something that you definitely can utilize at this point. So yeah, everybody is moving through the bottom of the map here. We have 2 kills, 2-1 for now, but this is the big opportunity for Team LB to make a move, take that wall down, and maybe get even a bit more out of this push. But at least destroy the 2 towers. That is absolutely mandatory. And they might be able to get some solid damage onto that fort, maybe even a 50%. I don't think they can take the entire thing down, but that's a good setup, and Tychus was in trouble for just a second once again. Mirrodin creating a little bit of space and helping the rest of the team dish out the direct damage against the Immortal. And they get it. So yeah, nicely done. Immortal is down. Li Ming with a bit of a flank attempt, nearly taking the fountain down. I like it. Good combo from her, but it was just not enough to drop the entire thing here. Now level 7 has kicked in for both of the teams. No real shock here either. Calamity, of course, for Li Ming at this point. And that's real solid because now she can dish out even more damage. Has also way more reset potential you would normally see from her. And good zone from Deckard Cain. I actually like that the old man is back in the game. I like it quite a bit. So yeah, at this point, oh, they're trying to make the move for Muggle, but yeah, he makes it out. Okay, so with all of that, after the first objective, we have a little bit of structural damage against the Space-Time Warriors. Which is, by the way, a pretty interesting name. That's the one thing, honestly, that always puts me off with a lot of these hero series that you see these days. I mean, no matter which one you're looking at, everybody talks about alternate dimensions and time travel, and I don't know, they always screw that up and it makes it just so weird. Let's create a new universe so that we can throw all of our previous history out the window. So I might be a little bit biased, but when I saw the team name of the blue team, I was immediately like, ugh, not again. But yeah, level 9 is already on the board for both of them, so now we're talking about heroic abilities. They got to get the next level in and then try to, of course, run a potential advantage towards objective number 2. But the poke down here is solid, and they try to get the fort. That fountain is also real juicy. I mean, that thing is in a really nice position here. Okay, so, but if they can take the fountain down, if they can obliterate the fort, that would of course be a big step, but with the objective already appearing, it's just the lanes that the teams should be focusing on the most so that they get the experience for level 10. And as it turns out, the Space-Time Warriors are a bit faster and are able to get that. So technically they could even try to jump in here and steal the camp away, which they don't do. They are going for the halftime show. And LB has also abandoned that entire play. Now we got the arrow from Hanzo and a potential follow-up with the mosh pit. Already the halftime show is over. There's the arrow. Deckard Cain with the follow-up, and Greymane gets attacked and survives until he finally gets eliminated by ETC. Trying to jump out, take the cow down, but that was his demise. The slide on Malfurion doesn't connect, but they're still chasing the old geezer with the green beard, and with a mace to the face, Yrel drops him. Now the next push straight up for Li Ming. She's dead too, and it's an absolute slaughter here as both of the teams are going ham. Yeah, ETC wants the beef and they get the panda. Chen is down, 4 kills to 3, slowly but steadily. Team LB pulling ahead here and even dropping Odin as they're even shelling away further. And they're starting to really gain some ground here. I mean, the blue team initially locked the halftime show in, but at this point they're starting to struggle. Muggle is really low on his Mirrodin and his mana pool isn't looking too great either. But with Fearless on ETC dropping in HP, they need to fall back for another second and top the fountain. So Greymane is doing what he does. He immediately moves down to the Immortal and starts to attack that bad boy. He's the one who can chunk it down quickly, but the rest of the red team has already started to engage up here. Nice move. Oh, against Hanzo! He dodges the Storm Bolt, and he's alive! A sliver of health, but he is alive. He makes it out. Oh, unbelievable. 3 kills to 4. The stun. Oh, the stun into the stun. Nicely done. Utilizing the Immortal stuns for a kill against Greymane. The big arrow coming from the base though. And they are not stopping here. It's a mad brawl in the mid lane. And it hasn't stopped for the last couple of minutes. Tychus is on the run. Yrel is also low. She's trying to get out here. Tranquility popped again. Yrel with a Hearthstone attempt. And she might just get away. The Immortal is already at the top. Nobody cares, by the way. Everybody is still brawling. And Deckard Cain, he also needs to move back. Yrel, by the way, survived all of this. She pretty much had no hit points left, was able to survive. And the Immortal topside is just like, well guys, if you don't take care of me, then I suppose I'm coming through and take that fort down. I mean, looks to me like we're gonna do that. So one fort is gonna fall for sure, but the blue team has already identified pretty quickly that this is gonna happen. So they didn't even bother moving topside. Instead, they went down to the bottom of the map, trying to go for the twofer. Take 2 of the forts down, and they get both of them. With 5 kills to 3, the red team is in the lead on kills, but it doesn't really help them if you look at structures. That Immortal still doing a bit of damage up at the top. It's going to be defeated by the towers any second. But over here, Urel is jumping in. They're looking for more kills. Experience is nearly even between the 2 teams, and it's party time. As the red team is even looking to chase, but yeah, they fall back. They still got their shaman camp that they can take, and the dust slowly settles over here. But a pretty crazy setup, honestly. We got Greymane with go for the throw. It's the Panda with the top cake plays. You saw quite a bit of that already in action. But once they hit level 10, they immediately went for it. Damage output here for Hanzo on the 23,000. Look at Tigers on the other hand. He's sitting at 32. Pretty high numbers for him. We have Lul Nado, by the way, for Deckard Cain. So at least in this case, no attempt to go into the stay a while and listen. Yeah, nothing that sets maybe ETC up for a decent mosh pit. So instead, they're just trying to create a bit of space here with the Lornado. And yeah, with level 30 now on the board, there's obviously survivability also for Muradin, who connects another Storm Bolt against Urel. Jump towards the top. And yeah, off we go. 3 kills to 5. Everybody's starting to go for Urel again, and the Space Coach is already feeling the pain. But here comes the kick. They're trying to isolate, but I don't think they can. The old man might be in trouble here. Good stumble again. Mosh pit interrupted. Lunado! And Malfurion! Malfurion with a big heals, but Fat Illidan dies. Chen jumped around feet first a couple of times once again after the top cake ended. Now they are making a play for Tychus, and he will die too. Tychus down, Chen down, and the next Immortal spawning in 4 seconds. Yeah, there's finally a little bit of momentum going for LB. They got all of their kills early on, 7 to 3 now, but up to this point, they had a bit of a tough time really capitalizing on them. Now, on the other hand, they got another 13-second window until Tychus is back on the map. So that's not only an easy halftime show for them, they might even be able to pull farther ahead once the halftime show is over. Now, Chen is already back. He is on the way. But now that we have Tychus also on the board... No, not like this! Muradin! He gets caught! Even the jump. Lulnado comes out to make sure that he doesn't stand a chance. And now the only thing that the Space Time Warriors can hope for is to stop the bleeding a little bit and limit the amount of damage that LB does by maybe taking the hit points on the shield down a bit, but it doesn't even seem that they can pull that one off. This looks like 100% Immortal to me, and that bad boy could hit hard. Yeah, they're gonna take it here, and that is a disaster for the blue team. The Space Time Warriors, they gotta travel back, and they might lose another. Oh my god! That's a staggered death. Muradin just came back, and now they lost their main support. Well, the only support. They might even lose Chen if... Yeah, well, if ETC had another power slide available, then maybe. This, by the way, is a bit of a problem. Now, this has to be dealt with somehow, and Urel is the one that already put the Hearthstone in. So she needs to deal with this, or the keep might fall. Now, it is a given that the fort at the top is going to fall. The only question really is, will LB be able to get a little bit farther ahead here? Are they able to lock in that level 16 and go through more of it? But the problem for LB is they only have 3 heroes here. They got Urel at the bottom of the map. They got Hanzo that is defending the top lane. So despite the fact that they had 100% shield on the Immortal, they are just letting this one go. So they're playing it really, really safe here. They made sure that both of the lanes are not going to be a problem for them. They go for the double fort play and put themselves, I would say, on a more or less even playing field with the Space Time Warriors again. With a small difference, of course, that we currently have level 16 for them. So there's a half level, a little bit more than a half level lead for the red team that they can run right now. But not much more than that. So yeah, 3 kills, 2-9, starting to make the play for the bot lane, trying to maybe play around that advantage a bit, but there's not a lot that they can claim. I mean, first of all, the camp, as you can see, there's another 30 seconds. In the meantime, level 16 will also be available for them. So, yeah, there's that. We got Diamond Skin, by the way, for Liming. So, a little bit of a different setup here for them. Overkill completely for our boy Tigers after he initially started with Grenade Talents on level 1 and level 7. I mean, pretty traditional. We've seen during the playoffs of the X-Cup Summer a few teams that have started to go for auto-attack builds with their level 7, even the level 1 talent, so not really focusing on the grenades all that much, but it's still the standard setup to go for. Imposing Presence for ETC, and now it's time to shine. This is the next big fight coming up, level 16 on both sides. And that's of course the opportunity to make maybe a little bit of a play here. They're already looking at the Panda, the mosh pit, but where's the damage? There's the damage, oh yeah. They find it and they take him down. The arrow this time is going far and wide, showing that also Asian players can drop in an A arrow every now and then. But down here, Muradin might be the one that is in trouble, or Malfurion. Both of them get isolated, but they are able to make it back to the rest of the team before anything else happens. The same situation is unfolding in front of us once again, though. The blue team is down in numbers, so it's a 5 versus 4 that they're playing. And yeah, this is getting a little bit crazy here. 10 kills, 2-3, real nice setup now for Team LB. They're the ones to bring the pain at this point, and they're trying to make a play for Muradin. ETC, it's also locked down a little bit here, but they're already on the run. And that's a halftime show. Well, we got the Panda back, but they really, really need to drop the hammer now. And Muradin missing the starboard is not a good start. Urel jumping back deep into the opponent's backline. Greymane trying to go for that go cheese, but he can't get her. ETC's low too, and in this case, he's down. ETC dies, and the old man is in trouble as well, trying to stay alive here. And he actually does for a huge amount of time, but eventually Greymane and Tigers, with a double wombo setup, come in and drop him. So the kill is there, and this is looking absolutely fantastic right now for the Space-Time Warriors in their little quest to bring this back. So yeah, good attempt by them. Yeah, it gets a little bit tricky here for a moment, but they are able to lock in the Immortal. And they have a pretty decent shield here too. I mean, what is this? 30% that we're talking about right now? That's not too shabby. First keep could fall here. We're 17 minutes into the game, so this is definitely gonna start hurting. And everybody on the side of the red team has to be ready for this one. Yeah, and they're gonna try. Down at the bottom of the map, that's where we're gonna see the push come in. Red team is still a little bit ahead when it comes to experience, so they're gonna close in on level 19. But we're not talking talent advantage here, and that's the big problem. If you have level 20 in that situation already, then you're pretty much Gucci. But as it stands, it's a bit of an issue. Now, the fight is already happening, and the keep is wide open since the gate has been taken down by some of the camps earlier. But they're trying to hammer that Immortal down. It doesn't seem like they can save that keep, though, especially with Odin now being fired up too. That's a little bit too much. So yeah, down goes the keep, and they are hoping to get the core here. I don't think they have it, though. I mean, they'll try. Maybe they don't. Good choice, good choice. Yeah, if you push in and the Immortal is that low, you just expose yourself to a potential chase. And if you lose a single hero, you might lose way more than that. The distance to safety from the opponent's core back to your own keep is just enormous. So a good move by them to not go for this. Yeah, no Divine Steed, by the way, for Urel, so she has a bit of a harder time chasing and also escaping here whenever she gets attacked. So far, we haven't really seen a whole lot of kills against the Space Goat, but still, gotta keep that in mind. This is one of those situations where Divine Steed might even have helped you again, could have chased a little bit harder. The teams will both now try to go for level 20. Now, keep in mind, this is a best of 5 series, and we have a double elimination bracket. We are in the first round of the winner bracket right now between the two of them. And yeah, it should be interesting which team advances here, because at least for the first map, they seem pretty evenly matched. Generally speaking, the red team may be a bit more coordinated in the team fights, but I gotta give it to the Space-Time Warriors. They showed up when they needed to. If they lost the last Immortal as well, they would have been in a huge amount of trouble. But as it stands, they brought it back, they took the bottom keep down, and are now ahead. Now, in experience, there's still a slight advantage for the red team, but they have the level 20. And yeah, looking good so far. Alright, in comes the jump. That's the experience that they needed for their own Storm talents. And here we have them. Mirrodin heading straight into the rewind. Odin, obviously, with the big red buttons. Serenity for Malfurion. And Tal Rashas for Liming. Seraphim for Yrel. The Bullseye, Bolt of the Storm. And Greymane also with the upgrade on the level 10. There's the double Storm Bolt. ETC, he tries to get out of harm's way and has to use his 20. Oh, but that got dicey. Mirrodin went in immediately with a rewind when he realized that he could lock him down. So he gets the double Storm Bolt connected. And that was a huge threat to ETC. And if he falls there, the blue team has a massive opportunity to lock the victory in game number 1 in. But now we have the red team in a slightly advantageous situation as they're starting to make a play for the Immortal. Tychus has split off from the team towards the top since he went to go and defend the camp that was pushing there. Catapults on the red team's core are soon going to be a problem though. So they have to really decide what they want to do here. For now, the catapults will be defeated. So good for them. Don't have to send anybody back. But eventually, this is going to be a bigger issue. And we're already 21 minutes into the game. Oh, nice! The setup into the Storm Bolt! And Chen is dead. Chen is dead. Even Hanzo came in with his arrow and said, hey, better safe than sorry. We need to take Fat Illidan down right now. And if we don't, then we're in trouble. And I don't know what to tell you. But he was not prepared. Chen was not prepared. Too many stuns right there. And that's a 50% shield as they go for kill number 2. Mirrodin, do they have it? I don't think they do. The slow, but no, not like this. Greymane, where are you going? Greymane got lost. That bad boy needs Google Maps. He definitely got lost on the map here. Yrel jumping back. Not so much sure if I'm a fan of that. The core is not really in trouble, so I guess she just needed mana. But as they are pushing, she needs to make their way over. Why are you defending, girl? I mean, seriously, that one catapult is not going to do anything. What is happening here? This is wasted time. You are needed. Granted, it's a 4 versus 3 on the left side of the map. But why are you taking this down? That catapult is not going to do anything to the core. Especially with the Immortal pushing the bot lane. I mean, there's no reinforcements coming. So that's a little bit of wasted time. They will take the keep down, but they might have just lost their chance to go for the core. And yes, now they did it. Yeah, they did 100%. With them losing ETC, if they can get a kill, then maybe they can get the upper hand again. But losing ETC was just huge. Yrel is now back, and off we go. They're coming in for Muggle. They can't get him. They're trying to make a play for Anna down here at the bottom. Can't get him either. It's not over yet. This is a 5 versus 4. They shouldn't be fighting this. If they can get the kill, they're nice, but you have to get it quickly or you're going to just lose it. Here comes the reset, but the lockdown, and Greymane does his thing. 1 down, 2 down. 3 in total eliminated, make it 4, and that is going to decide the game. Greymane is already making his move towards the core. The Immortal did a little bit of damage, as you can see, 66%, but that's not gonna be enough. And with only Yrel defending, this should be a win on map number 1 for the Space-Time Warriors. 9 kills to 13, but at the end of the game, at least for now, it seems that the blue team is going to lock it in. Now ETC is back with a good mosh pit. Yeah, not that one. He might have been able to delay it a little bit, but as it stands, I don't think that they can do that. So yeah, well done. Core gets attacked, and this is going to be the end of game number 1 between the Space-Time Warriors and Team LB. GG, and well played as the blue team locks in the victory on map number 1 of the best of 5. Before we head into game number 2, make sure that you subscribe to the channel if you haven't done it yet so you don't miss out on any future content here on Khaldor TV. Game number 2, the draft for the second game, this time with sound. Yeah, we're improving. So, we have our second game coming up. The Space-Time Warriors are already ahead with a 1-0. Now, I gotta say, I feel like Team LB, they had a chance to win the first one. But we seem to have a match on our hands where the teams are more or less evenly matched, so I'm actually very happy about that. This is the first round of the tournament. 8 teams are signed up in total here, and obviously all of this takes place on the Chinese server. And yeah, we have Korean players, we have Chinese players. Should be pretty fun here. Just see how the metas change. Greyman, by the way, gets right away banned. So we're looking in the first round also at a couple of preference bans. Just learning your lesson after the previous round. I'm curious to see what changes we have in regards to the meta between these teams and what we're usually observing on the European side. It's always kind of fun, you know, if you get to see both sides. And players, they're always stealing a little bit. Now, it's actually a really weird setup in general. Korea currently is struggling a bit with the amount of tournaments that they have. They don't have a lot of high-level competition going on. I think right now Europe has by far, over the last few years after HCC dropped down, Europe has by far the most high-level tournaments, leagues and whatnot. There's always something going on the European side, so for European players this is kind of nice, even though we are not in a full-time pro setup anymore for Heroes of the Storm. The players in Europe, they have plenty of opportunities, you know, to just like prove their mettle, play against other teams, whereas in Korea there are not that many tournaments around, so it gets really difficult for the teams to really operate on a high level. Now, that doesn't take anything away from individual players in particular that are, of course, still, especially on the mechanical side, oftentimes insane, but it makes it a bit more difficult. Now, China still has competition, and that's one of the reasons why we see a lot of the Korean players now participate in Chinese tournaments whenever they get an opportunity to do so. Now, this is one of them, and it's going to be pretty interesting. I mean, it's going to run over the course of a week, so we should see a lot of good games coming out of this. With a birdie on Sky Temple. Okay, I like it. We got Malfurion. Again, same priority. I talked about this previously. We saw it in the last tournament that we covered on the Asian realm. Malfurion, super high in priority, but he's not getting banned out that much anymore. If you remember the last one, the Fish Cup, then Malfurion was more or less banned every single game. Not so much here. But we get globals for both of them. So currently we got Dehaka as a first pick, counteracting Falstad a little bit. Tychus and Johanna are locked in. And it shows again that they really love to play their Tychus. We saw that in the last Korean tournament. The Europeans have adapted. They played Tychus after that tournament a lot more as well. Beforehand, he was picked, but mostly on Inferno Shrines, for example, since Odin gives you such a huge advantage when you're playing for the objective. The Zeratul ban. Ah, it makes me a little bit sad. Every single time I see a hero like this banned out, I'm like, damn, if they wouldn't have banned it, would he have been picked? A good Zeratul player is just super fun to watch. So that would have been kind of nice. But yeah, we got Johanna, we got Dehaka, so they can already play around the global a little bit. They got Jojo for wave clear. She's also quite solid when you're talking about the potential battles on the boss. Falstad, of course, helps with it too, since he can use the Gust. If Jojo can keep her trade, then she can try and counteract it a little bit. And control the point, keep that. Anubura gets banned again. Last time they had him on a first priority with Malfurion already locked in. That follow-up after the stun with the root would be an option. And what do they pick now? What are we going to get next here? Haven't seen anything crazy yet. Again, it's first match, of course, but still. Haven't seen anything too insane. There's May. And Blaze. Okay. Our boy is in. Blaze and May. A lot of control already coming through the two of them. A lot of slows that they have. And the last two picks. What are we getting here? We still need a little bit of damage. We need the support. Yeah, kind of late on the support picks. Lucy was banned out against them in the earlier game. Could also be a decent pick for them here. Deckard Kane was real solid though, and you can control a lot of space with it. But they go for Rega! We got the doggy! And Orphea is in the house. So Orphea Tychus for the damage output. Rega for the heals. And off we go with the last pick on the blue team's side. Alright, alright. What are we getting for the last one? What's happening here? We still need them with a bit more damage. Falstad alone is not going to cut it. Can be melee, no problem, but you need someone else that puts the numbers on the board. And it's Hanzo! Honor! Alright. Our boys in, everybody. Game number 2, the lead for the blue team as we are heading into the second game of this Best of 5 series. Well, let's make it happen. Sky Temple, our second map.
Prepare.
Game number 2. We got our game going on. So guys, we got our Blaze, Malfurion, Falstad, Hanzo and Mei set up for the Spacetime Warriors. Whereas on the right side of the map, Team LB is dropping the damage with Orphea and Tychus. We got Jojo and Dehaka at the front line and Rhaegar for the heals. So let's see what the teams can pull off here. In regards to our builds, we have the Laws of Hope on level 1 for Jojo. That doesn't come as a shock. Pretty much the talent that you see most of the time. Obviously, these days it is pretty much a norm to go for the stacking on Falstad too. Very rarely do we see a different setup for him. It's very map dependent, but occasionally you still see that happening. Vision is taken. The blue team isn't even contested, so they just move in, take vision, and now it's all about the lanes. Now, traditionally, you would see the globals eventually at the bottom of the map, since the first 2 objectives spawn in the middle and all the way up at the top. So at the bot lane, you can then keep the global here, soak some extra experience, and join the fight later, if it comes to a fight. Unless, of course, the teams are just deciding that they are dividing up the towers and play that out. Rotation between the middle and the bot lane. Dehaka at the top for now. And a little bit of an easier game right now. Not a lot of action happening in the early game. No real ganks coming up just yet. Keep in mind, the first map started with a death on Urel. She got ganked by the entirety of the blue team. But in this game, so far, we haven't seen any of that. The 1 minute mark passes. We have camps appear on the map. And the first thing that happens is that the Space-Time Warriors make their play for the Giants. And well, with the Siege Giants already claimed, it's a bit of a different priority that we're seeing from Team LB. They go for the Bruiser camp first. And that's of course the beauty of running Rhaegar. He is really good when we're talking about camps, so they can take those a little bit faster. There's a lot more resources committed to the camps by the blue team, as they are setting 3 of their heroes towards it. But we have still not seen a play for the Siege Giants, so it seems that Team LB is trying to use those a bit later, already trying to go for the attack against the structures, and they are nearly getting that tower. I actually like it. That timing worked really well for them. So they're kind of outplaying the opponent on the macro level a little bit. If they can do more structural damage, it would be fantastic, but they also have to, of course, make sure that the blue team's camp is not going to get any counter value on that wall. So, yeah, here's the party, and there's the brawl that we've been waiting for the entire time. The Master Assassin taken again, and our girl Orphea is hitting, and she's hitting hard. And get him some good damage out as the level 4 talents kick in for both teams. And look at that, we got the updraft. Alright, so a little bit more of a shield. Gets the updraft in on level 4. And that is going to give some reposition value also for Falstad during those team fights. Camp gets easily cleared. And this has still not been taken, so they should really try to take it now, I suppose. If you want to time it around the temples activating and put some extra pressure onto the bottom of the map, then this is really the moment when you need to make your move, and that's exactly where they're headed. So Rhaegar is fully headed down to the bottom of the map, but Orphea gets help from Tychus, and the 2 of them are going to get the Siege Giants, and that will force someone down. I'm a little bit surprised that we currently have Rhaegar here. Normally you would expect that Dehaka is making a play for it, but that's not the case just yet. So Rhaegar is going to use the wave clear and try to escort those Siege Giants in. But Dehaka is at the top side, and the first few shots are being fired against Team LB as the Spacetime Warriors are taking control of the middle of the map. But the Siege Giants are now at the bottom, and they force the birdie down. Now, that's the big problem here. If you have that camp up, Lucky is the one moving down, top side gets contested, but here in the middle, Team LB is trying to take control of the first temple. And up at the top we have our 1 versus 1 situation. So technically speaking, LB did macro did on the macro side a nice move, but I don't think they got anything out of it just yet. They forced Falstad down, but they couldn't really capitalize on that move up to this point. The shots are still being fired against them, and they're just barely taking control over the top. Now we got Cleanse in now too, level 7 talents for both sides, but when it comes to the map, Spacetime Warriors are still doing a little bit better. Now, the kill against Blaze at the top, that changes the equation a bit, since with Tychus helping out our boy, what's his face? That guy. The Hacker. I played this game before, I swear. Yeah, so the Hacker at the top gets a bit of an assist. Tychus comes in and they drop Lay, so that's the first kill of the game. First blood is in. And they nearly take down the fort. So solid damage by them in the middle of the map. A bit has been done here by the shots too. So they're pulling a bit ahead. It's not a crazy lead or anything for them, but they have a slight advantage now that they're of course going to try and run as the game continues. Jojo still in the middle, zoning them away as best she can. We have the first stack also for Tychus. I mean, you don't pick Master Assassin to complete the quest. If you can, then hello, sir. You're always happy about that. But the main reason is you want to have that passive speed increase on the attack that also gets applied when you use Odin. That gives you a real huge chunk of damage. Now, in addition to that, we got our stacks for Jojo's. He's sitting at 13. Up at the top, another drag, another kill. Tychus, look at that. They get the second one, and Falstad decided that he's flying in for it. And nearly was murdered too. That's 2 kills to 0 now. I was just about to say maybe he can get the kill against Sophia at the bottom of the map. But as it turns out, they cannot. So Rhaegar, he's rotating in too. They're apparently trying to gank up on Hanzo. He should be able to jump out. They might make a play for Mei then again. But there's the level 10. So they have the advantage around the heroic ability. Get the ancestral healing in. Blessed shield. And camps are taken once more. The window isn't big enough to go for the boss. If they had an entire level lead, for example, I'm sure that the red team would have made a move for the boss pit. But in this case, they just settle for their own camp, try to get a bit of map control, and that's it. Now, Mei is going straight up for the snowball. We got Hanzo with the arrow again. Yeah, Falstad at the top. This is where the globals are, of course, now going to reign supreme, because the objective is a single temple at the bottom of the map. So the top lane is going to be important in the sense that you can try and push this. Both have the camp ready, and if one of the two can take the opponent's camp down quickly and then have the push continue, that would be pretty great for them. Now, as the Haka is already going for the defense, Lucky with his Falstad is starting to take vision. But now there's a potential move down to the bottom of the map. And they are making the play happen right now. So here comes the Haka. They try to go for the drag. They connect it. And is it going to be enough? Blessed Shield as a follow-up. They want Mei. Isolation, everything. Mei trying to slide out. Nice bunker just as the Uldo for Fia drops, but Tychus is dropping them. And that snowball was too little too late. It was a good idea, but it didn't save Mei. So the tank is down. Falstad is still at the top, dealing with a bruiser camp. 3 kills to 0. A lot of control here for the red team. They lost map number 1, but at least here on the second map, they are looking much, much better now. Already taking the fountain down at the bottom of the map. Falstad, of course. Yeah, someone needs to deal with the top. The Haka is starting to slowly make his move towards the top side. Yeah, that jet propulsion came a moment late. Unfortunate for them. And there's the gust. And that was a really good gust. If that doesn't come, then I feel we're seeing a dead Birdie. Birdie would have gone down, chicken for dinner. As it stands, though, the Haka is slowly making the move towards the top side. Yeah, and that brings us nearly to level 13. The damage output, Tychus, as he was helping out with a few kills earlier, sitting at 14,000. Hanzo. Oh, ho, ho, ho. The Arrow of Death? Maybe, maybe not. Nah, they're still getting out, and they're turning it. Blaze isn't here yet, and Hanzo gets punished for that arrow. And he's not the only one that's getting punished. Nope, Mei is getting punished too. And with 3 versus 5 on the map, you know the move. The play for boss. They have the numbers advantage. They have the talent advantage. And they're using it right away to take the boss down as well. That is some solid momentum here for Team LB. That's actually a bit crazy if you think about it. They took 1 fort down. The second one, the one at the top lane, is nearly dropped. And now with the boss, they have so much momentum here that they can take even more structures down. Just eliminating that wall in the middle, of course, would be a huge step towards victory, since the more structures you kill without your opponent fighting your own temples, the better for every single objective that spawns on the map. And they are going to try and take the top fort now too. We have Malfurion and Hanzo both committing to the defense at the bottom of the map. But yeah, this is a bit of a disaster right now. 5 kills to 0 also tell you the tale here. Up to this point at least, the Space-Time Warriors, they could not get a kill in. And Jojo is looking at 26 stacks on her level 1, so that is a very nice self-sustained setup that she has. And she's gonna look at the 30 very, very quickly. The birdie! Haha, bye-bye birdie. The bird is down. There's the Haka with the Tong Connect. They get 2 kills. Johanna dies. Finally a kill for the Warriors. But even the Ancestral couldn't save Rega, so we have at least 2 kills for 2. Finally, the Space-Time Warriors are getting a bit angry and are fighting back. But they are still not out of it yet, because that connects, and Hanzo, wow, jumps away with 70 HP. 70 hit points, nearly connects a shot with Ophia, but she is able to make her way out of it. Down at the bottom of the map, that Siege Giant survived everything. And finally, the last auto attack takes him on. But the lead in experience is just now absolutely incredible. I mean, it's 7 kills to 2, and the experience lead leads to a 16 talent on the red team side very quickly here. So they have a huge advantage. It's a double temple up on the map. The fort in the mid lane is about to get destroyed, but they are fighting for every single objective, and so they should. With a 2-level advantage and a talent advantage. I mean, are you kidding me? Of course you're taking that battle. Of course you're making that move. So they're making a play for it. Full level is in, and the Blessed Shield misses. The Blessed Shield misses. They try to go for Muggle here. Blaze also on the way back slowly as he's trying to retreat without getting dropped by Ophia. A good gust puts them straight into harm's way. And then again, Blaze misses the engage, but that's also another problem for Tychus as he's getting dropped straight into the range of the fort once more. Jojo, they're still all alive, a little bit low, but Healing Totem is helping them. It's full retreat mode that we're talking about. Kudos to the Space-Time Warriors. That's a pretty solid fight considering that they still don't have the level 16. Now they're gonna get it in just a moment, but it's incredible that they're able to get to this point in the first place. But then this happens, and Falstad is barely making his way out of the fight. But they are fighting tooth and nail. I mean, they're really just trying to claw their way back now, aren't they? Level 16 is available. That's taken quite a long time, but now they're fighting on eye level again. And we still have both temples up. So this is a bit insane. All the way up at the top, Mughal is able to get the shots to drop the fort in the middle. The Haka is now taking control at the bottom of the map and is starting to put more pain onto the bottom keep, which is of course going to be pretty special for them as well. If they can drop that, it would be great. Here comes the Gus, straight onto the point. They're making a play. Ophia with the ult, and they're starting to take Blaze down a notch again. The arrow, by the way, completely missing. And, well, if he didn't get stopped by something, then he's still flying to the day. The Eternal Arrow is here. The camp taken by the red team. The fight, on the other hand, already cost Ophia life. That's the kill, the double, the triple! And they take at least Blaze down. But, things are not looking good for Team LB. All of a sudden, they are the ones on the losing side. Rega is the only one that got out. Everybody else got dropped, so it's 6 kills against 8 now. And this is starting to shift a little bit. Yeah. The blue team is not happy with the early game. That's just saying, boys, we scaling. They're channeling the inner cure as they are now going for another fort, and they will draw even with this. They take the fort at the bottom of the map, and all the way up at the top, this is going to be another hit that we're getting here too. So all of the forts are going to be destroyed, which means in structures at least, it will be an even playing field between them. Now, we still got, of course, a camp up on the map, and nobody is contesting that. The Haka will be back in another moment too. By now we have 31 stacks for Jojo, so even more self-heal for her. 39,000 for Ophia, but look at that damage output from especially Hanzo. Again, a lot of this is obviously just poke damage that doesn't necessarily translate into anything, but we are talking about 60,000, so that is pretty insane. Now, they're sharking around the boss pit, but I don't think that anybody is making a big play for this yet. If they do, while Falstad is still up, then it's really around the Gust and also the Snowball of May that they have to play around with. And that, of course, makes it really important that the Haka syncs his burrow potentially up, and also Jojo her own trade. So those are some of the plays that we definitely have to watch out for if it ever comes to that. Blaze is struggling a little bit in the game. He died 3 times already. And honestly, some of the engages that we saw with the jet propulsion just looked a little bit weird. So, as mentioned before, these games are taking place on the Chinese server, and there's also a lot of Koreans playing. I'm not quite sure where exactly he's from, but it definitely seemed that there was a bit of delay involved too. Now, given the name, I would have jumped to the conclusion that he's probably playing on the Chinese side, but you never know. So, as it stands, we have the game pausing for just a second. 19 versus 19, so we're getting a bit close on level 20s. Now, at the bottom of the map, the towers are down. So if you're able to take another boss, that keep is going to be in trouble one way or another. And we're 14, 15 minutes into the game now. So that obviously means that a boss would start to hurt. I mean, these guys are scaling as the game continues. So there's that. We have, in the meantime, also the blessed momentum now for Jojo. Always talking about the cooldown reductions here. The tunneling claws are in. A little bit of action here in the middle of the map, but he shouldn't really force anything. And the Haka is coming through now, and if he's able to connect a drag, maybe they can bait out the bunker, but I would assume that this is the best that they can hope for. You have to also keep in mind that Mei is sitting right down here, so she can come in and help out quickly. And worst case scenario, I assume, is going to be Blaze with the bunker, just avoiding the worst. The next objective is a single temple in the middle, so yeah, I don't really think that we're going to see anything major fall. The temple will attack the keep in the mid lane, and both of the teams, to my knowledge, still have more or less the entire gate intact. That's at least true for the blue team, and as you can see, also for the red team. So we're not going to see any big problems around keeps. Nothing is going to be lost here. It really depends on the fight and if one of the teams can make a play for the boss. But yeah, they're trying. Jet propulsion this time connecting. Yeah, and everybody is they're not really willing to take that fight just yet. Boss even gets aggroed, but here's the temple activation. The remaining minions of the top camp on the side of the red team have now also been eliminated by the wave. Falstad is flying top to make sure that he's taking all of that down, soaks the experience up. They want that early level 20, and they're gonna get it. They're gonna get the early level 20, and before it happens, we see a play for the Siege Giants, and that gets them a little bit closer, of course, as well. Now, Serenity is in. And Blaze has decided to go into the burn notice instead of heading into the fortified bunker. We still have the Mighty Gust getting upgraded. And yep, there's the 20 now on both sides. So Rega in this case with the Farseer's Blessing. We got the Contagion. And everybody is ready with the Storm Talons. It's party time, baby! It's party time! And Falstad is again moving down to the bottom of the map to deal with Siege Giants and Catapults for now, which leads to a fight in the mid lane, breaking out a little bit earlier. Yeah, there's the jet propulsion, missing, and he eats the isolation instantly. They're looking for the kill, they can't. The arrow flying again far and wide on its way to an A. 6 kills to 8, a lot of ults already oloed out. Tigers is, by the way, sitting on 8 stacks on his Master Assassin. 8 stacks for him already, and he might get a few more here. Oh, gets hit by the snowball. There's the wind tunnel, and the Farseer's Blessing gets used by Rega. Then again, Orphea in trouble, but it's Blaze that falls first. The trade-in kills, a 1-for-1. They're making a play for Falstad, but thanks to his level 4 talent, is able to get out of the fight very quickly. 4 versus 4. Mei with a trade. Can she survive? And the answer is maybe. She gets out. And Rega is dead. Jojo is also down. And it's a Dehaka kill next. 4 heroes down. What a setup by the Space-Time Warriors. It's actually crazy. They're bringing this back. They bring the game back. They have taken the lead in kills. And of course, with 4 heroes still on the map, they're making an immediate play for the boss too, instantly. So yeah, that will be a lot of damage at the bottom of the map. No keep has seriously been threatened yet, but not too shabby. They turned that game. That's a 6.5 out of moment for them, for sure. 2 team fights that they now decided in their favor pretty significantly, with a big margin, and that helped them to shift the game, because initially they are the ones that got spent. 40 stacks now for Johanna. Guys, that's a lot. That's a lot of self-healing that Jojo has at this point. I mean, we're talking about 40 in total. So, considering that you have a Rega behind you too, it's really tricky to take her down. So, nice setup for her, but again, blue team managed, and now they're trying to reap their reward. They're moving through the bottom of the map with a boss. They have Blaze coming into. Siege Giant camp is there. The keep is slowly falling, and it seems that there's no way to defend this one. Now, we won't see their play for core, but getting the constant catapult pressure on the bot lane, that's already worth a lot. And at least they're setting up on it, so they're trying to double check if they can maybe make a bit of a play here. So far, the answer to that is no, and I don't think they're going to stick around. If they overstay, the Haka hits a drag, they might be in trouble, and that's exactly what he's threatening now. The Siege Giants are also down, catapults get dropped. Double Temple coming up, by the way. Double Temple, mid lane, top lane, that's what we're talking about. Some serious pressure in the middle of the map in particular, because as you can tell, the fountain here is down, so is the wall. So if the blue team is able to get control over the mid temple, they are going to destroy another keep. And once you're that far behind, it is really tricky, if not impossible, to make a comeback unless you win one of the team fights big time. I mean, at that point, we would be talking about nearly a 5-man wipe that you need. So, blue team could focus onto the mid lane a little bit if they wanted to. The two globals, of course, have a chance to go on the side lanes. With Siege Giants taken by the Space-Time Warriors, the Haka has to do exactly that. He is at the bot lane already. And as you would expect, red team makes a play for the middle, as they have to. They need to deplete those shots a bit to save their keep in the mid lane. And now that the Warriors are taking over, it will be tricky. You need to contest this. You can't let that happen. Once that the keep is down, you have two lanes that are getting pressured by catapults. And that's just a little bit too much to handle. The Haka with the drag. No ults being used yet. The arrow hits. Jojo. Ah, that Ancestral was too early. Essence and Ancestral get dropped at the same time. Ophia is down. Forced that isolated her with a Mighty Gust. And now Johanna dies too. Ults definitely needed to be coordinated a little bit better. With a 5 versus 3, even with a good contagion, that's just no way. The Haka is on the run, but they're getting him. And with a snowball, they also get Rhaegar. That's 4 down. That's game. That's game. They're making their play for keep and core. What a comeback! The Space-Time Warrior with a very solid comeback in this game. Initially, how many kills was it? 5-0? They had some real problems, but now they're going for a 2-0 lead in the best of 5 here in the winner bracket. The first round of the tournament. Nicely done. Of course, we're headed straight for game number 3, but there's a huge advantage now for the blue team, as Team LB is forced to go for an attempt at a reverse sweep. They need to win 3 in a row now if they want to decide the series in their favor and move on to the next round. GG, well played. Alderac Pass, third map in our series. A 2-0 lead already for the Space-Time Warriors. With an excellent job on the previous map, they were able to start a comeback after initially they got spanked a little bit. Gonna have a very fast draft, at least at the start of this one, because we already started to draft, but one of the players disconnected, and therefore this is gonna go a little bit quicker, at least initially. Now, the interesting part about this is that, first of all, we didn't get an early Dehaka pick for Team LB. They banned out Falstad, but they didn't try to control the macro game by picking Dehaka. They had him earlier as a first pick. But that Grey main priority that they currently use could also hint that we're getting maybe even an Abathur here. Sonya and Lucio are two additional heroes that you can really pair well with Abathur. So there's at least a chance for that to happen. We could see the slug, but of course the bans come next. And if you're trying to control the global game, then Dehaka is now becoming a little bit of an issue. You have to either ban him or pick him for yourself if you want to be successful there. There's not really that many globals around. I would love to at some point see a Chinese or Korean team to play the Vikings, but to be honest, most of them don't. It was never really a big deal on the Asian server, at least not on the top level play. So yeah, it would be kind of fun to see, but I don't necessarily expect it here. So Diablo gets banned on the front line. Yeah, and now really a bit of a moment of truth situation. They ban Stitches. Okay, so with Vala for them, Stitches gets banned. Stitches, of course, can add a lot of value here too. We don't see him that often on the European side, but he gets played. It's a bit map dependent too. Garrosh into a Malfurion Root on the ground. And are we going to see the Slugger, yes or no? It's interesting to me that given the fact that they use globals on pretty much any map that we played so far. Now they are completely abandoning any place around Dehaka, even on a map like this. Now Sonya as the side laner is what you would expect. Dehaka is still open, but if they pick Dehaka now, that's a very melee-heavy composition that they're running, with Greymane in the mid. There's Uther, double support, and Mephisto. Okay, channeling their inner Macke. That's an interesting one. Uther as the main tank here. Uther plus Lucio. With Sonya, Divine Shield, Greymane is going to be a monster. And then a Mephisto behind it. Now, that's a pick that I did not see coming on Alderac Pass. Yeah, that's more something that you see on, I don't know, Infernal Shrines. Like smaller maps with those fights. But again, last pick for the blue team. What are they getting? A little bit more damage. It's Sylvanas. Okay, let's go everybody. Alderac Pass, game number 3 in our best of 5 series here at the tournament. Off we go! We got a Garrosh set up for the blue team for the third map. Garrosh and Yrel, so the Space Goat is in again. Malfurion for the support and our damage dealer with our 2 girls here. Vala gets played for the first time in this series. She was banned out previously. And we have Sylvanas. When it comes to the red team, now that they are trying to finally put a point onto the scoreboard, we have a double support setup with Uther, of course, doubling as a main tank here for them. But Lucio is going to be the one to empower the rotations a bit and to add the additional sustain, with Mephisto plus Greymane chunking out the damage here. And Sonya on top of that. Now, with Divine Shield, which we can expect as the heroic ability on the side of Uther, both of those can do a lot. Spray game on point. I like it. Okay. And at the bottom, it's the good old Sylvanas let's kill a tower move. And with Garrosh sitting at the side, they nearly get the entire thing. But Lucky stayed too long. Too greedy. Greedy, greedy, greedy. They got the tower, but they lost Sylvanas. Worth it? Maybe, maybe not. Not when it comes to experience, but might allow them to push the bot lane a little bit harder. Yeah, but the problem, again, is still that you're now finding yourself in a spot where you at least lost the initial kill. So, yeah, just overstaying there. And then Lucio interrupted the wave, and yeah, that's just the end of it. Could have moved back a bit and then tried to just dish out some range damage. Anyways, as it stands, it's a tiny lead in experience, but that's about it. Now, we're talking about those camps again. This is pretty much it's the only camp on the map outside of boss camps. And it hits pretty hard, so you will see this taken every single time that it pops up very, very quickly. If you're diligent about taking the camp on Alderac Pass, you are gonna do a lot of damage to that mid lane, if your opponent fails to do so as well. So that's definitely something to pay attention to. We got an arrow build for Vala, the first 2 stacks are coming in, and a missile build for now for Mephisto. Alright, unyielding power on level 1. I'm gonna see if he goes full skull missile in this one, but still. Already at the top. A little bit of damage dished out. The main move to the middle of the map. Sylvanas, of course, trying to enhance the push now. Yeah, camp against the camp. Vala is continuing with the repeating arrow. And can they get the hit on Lucio? Oh, he's so low. He's so low, but he made his way out of the fight. Good for him. Yeah, well done, well done, well done. Okay, so Yrel is starting to rotate around. We got a bit of early aggression from the Space Time Warriors as they try to set Sylvanas up for pressure on those walls. The build here with now level 4, Spite. We got still a bit of a play in the middle of the map as Garrosh is looking for victims and Vala is very interested to get more hits in for her level 1. Indomitable for Garrosh. But yeah, I like it. A little bit of early game aggression, so good on that. First kill, of course, against Sylvanas. And talking about Sylvanas, she's already at the bottom of the map continuing the same play. Garrosh interrupted Sonya with a rotation, so she's a bit late, which means that Lucky was able to get even more damage out. The gate is nearly obliterated. But then again, Yrel also had a bit of a problem here. The big bad wolf wanted some goat, and he got some goat. Went in and took her down. So now that Yrel is dropped, that's 2 kills already for Team LB. And maybe even the first objective. Now, they get the lead initially, but I would still expect that the blue team is starting to fight back. And look at the camps. As already predicted, the camp got taken once that it was back up, but only by one team, only by the Space Time Warriors. That could become a problem. Vala with some extra damage. She gets more stacks also. Mephisto comes in. Camp obviously interrupted. 12 seconds left. And now they got to deal with the camp in the middle, which means that they need to coordinate their resources over here. And Garrosh was hoping for a flip on Sonya. That didn't quite work out. But an early level 7 is still going to be a reality for the red team. So they get the early 7. They get now Hand of Protection. And we got the Frost Storm. And all the way up at the top, here comes the play for the wall. Vala finishing up the build for now with a Frost Shot. And this talent is getting more and more important now. I mean, Blizzard nerfed Vala in the last patch, and the Hot Pursuit in particular got dropped quite a bit from the 2.5% that he got previously on the Hatred stacks to down to 2. So now we're seeing a lot more Frost Shot plays made by pretty much every single player. It's true for Europe, that's true for the Asian server here too, for the Chinese server in this case. And already, oh, not like this! The wave takes Vala down. Yeah, she was stacking up with the rest of them, and that was at the end of the day, the end of her. And it seems like Urel is not going to make it either. They're already jumping in deep. With the double support, you have a lot of sustain, of course, in these fights, and they're using it. That's 4 kills to 0. Sylvanas has rotated to the bottom immediately. The whole idea here is to just delay the inevitable. Eventually, Team LB should be able to get the objective. But if Sylvanas gets some damage at the bottom, that would be a nice first step. The problem for them is that Lucio is nearly down, but he gets healed by Uther, and therefore still alive. Now Sylvanas is already moving straight back to the middle so that she can help out. But the first objective has been taken. And yeah, that is a nice opportunity for Team LB to get ahead. Now, keep in mind, they were in a similar spot on Sky Temple, and then eventually they lost because they just couldn't coordinate the team fights well enough to take them. And after heroic abilities hit, it was the blue team that just did a bit better in those battles. And 2 of the fights ended with 4 heroes dying for the red team, and that brought back the Space Time Warriors. So they're going to try and pull the same off here, of course, but they are suffering some serious damage now. Vala, if you play her with a single support and not with a triple front line, she needs to be incredibly careful. She is still a bit weak in terms of hit points. And there's Leap as well to consider now. So there's the level 10 abilities. Leap, the Durance of Fate. They got everything here. Going for the throat once again with the Divine Shield, this time as a backup. But they save the fort. So the fort is still in play. Up at the top, this might... I think they can save this one too, if they rotate up, and they do. So Sonya is moving away. Don't think that she has to use the ult to escape here. We have level 10 now for both of them. That gives us the taunt on Garrosh, and the red team dives in a bit deep. I'm not quite sure that's a nice move. Like, they are not even taking the fort. They have to be real careful, because that rotation is coming in. Oh boy. I was for a second really afraid that they get caught full out there. With 3 heroes, if they get camped there, then they might lose everybody. Now for now, it's just the kill potentially against Uther, and he dies! With Divine Shield, the Strafe takes down Lucio, and the Wolf isn't making it either. They're jumping straight in for the doggy. Don't tell... Nah, yes, good route, good route. For a moment I thought, is he honestly escaping that one? But nope, he doesn't. So now there's a push straight in the middle. With 3 kills to 4, the Space Time Warriors, they have Sylvanas in the perfect position to capitalize on the kills that they just got. And they are crushing. I mean, damn son. Greymane is about to be back, but that's a lot of free damage that they're getting here. Vala is helping to take the fountain down. So the sustain is already gone in the middle. They themselves obviously lost their fountain too. And Vala's sitting at 22 stacks on her level 1. 37 for Mephisto. But that was a real nice turn in that fight. Yeah, they got forced into that battle. The red team was trying to eliminate the fort in the mid lane. Couldn't do it, by the way. And then they got forced into that fight. And once that happened, they just lost Uther because there was so much stun on him. First the Warlord's challenge, the stun, the Wailing Arrow from Sylvanas. He never really had a chance to go for the Divine Shield. Look at Uther. They're getting a little bit greedy around this one. They gotta be careful. If they go this deep, then they might just lose another hero, and they can't afford to do that. But Sonya is all alone up at the top, and I guess she's gonna get a fort. So yeah, they didn't get the one that they wanted, but hell, They'll take it. That's at least one. Talking about being greedy. It's not the only team that's getting a bit greedy here. Wave is already coming out. There's the jump, the flip, and still... Oh, Uther! Wow! Couldn't connect the stun because Lucky dropped the Wailing Arrow again. So maybe a bit too greedy and suffering at least some consequence. But that was still a nice move here by Sylvanas. And at the same time, Sonya has to jump out too. So another ult that got dropped. Yeah, it's getting wild all over the place. First fort is down. The blue fort in the mid lane is about as low as the one of the red team. Sylvanas is continuing the party at the bottom of the map and is just going for the side lane pressure. I'm helping! Have you seen my siege damage? But yeah, she's getting stuff done. So she's going to drop that fort eventually. And the red team just said, okay, we're not going to react to this the entire time. Let's instead just simply move into the middle and drop this one too. Talking about dropping things, they are trying to drop Garrosh like a hot potato. Garrosh in trouble, another flip, big fight, and where's that strafe when you need it? So far not being used. There we have it. Strafe comes through. And the spin to win from Sonya. Look at Uther. He looks for the stun, but he's a bit low. And, well, Sonya dies. Didn't use the Divine Shield. Well, he did. But there's the kill. There's the double. Sonya didn't even leap out. With Sonya and Uther both dead. This is a 5 versus 3. The objective is up for grabs. The bot lane fort has fallen. And Urel is tapping the fountain at the bottom fort. Now, with 5 kills to 4, they have a chance to get the objective. And, of course, also to easily drop the one in the middle. And Lucky is immediately at it. He's like, are you kidding me? I'm gonna pass up on that opportunity. That's just too easy, baby. Even setting up another trap here as they're hoping that someone would rotate down. Nah, sheep everywhere. Every single time I hear that sound, it reminds me of Warcraft 3. Warcraft 3 before Blizzard tried to ruin it with Remastered. Reforged, I'm sorry. And here we go. There's the play, Malfurion. Yeah, he went too far. But so might Sonya. Durance of Hate, Vala down. Sylvanas is dead too. Oh boy, they're killing all of them. They're trying to go for the Space Goat. Garrosh, that bad boy, look at him. He's making his way out of the fight. And they are likely both gonna escape. Yes, they are. The tactic. No, the kill. Oh, Mephisto tickles him in the last moment, and that is that. 8 kills to 5, 15 to 15. And boy, that was the saddest objective that I've seen in a while. I mean, kudos for the Space Time Warriors for locking it in. But then they lose 4 heroes on the retreat, and that of course means that that cavalry doesn't do anything. A little bit of damage at the bottom. A couple of hits are coming, but that's about it. Now, the skull build for Mephisto continues. He locked in the level 13, he went for the level 16, so now we got the lightning reaction in for him too. With his level 16, we also got Benediction. The double support setup that we see for Team LB helps them, of course, to keep everybody alive during these fights. But some of this is really just barely happening. In the last fight in particular, so many of their heroes were insanely low, and they nearly got the kills in. Now, we got a boss for a boss play. They already figured out the top side, the red team was going for a boss play, and so they're doing the same thing at the bottom of the map. Both of these will walk straight up for the keep, and Sylvanas might change the balance on this. So we'll see if they're willing to push this slightly, or if both teams are just trying to defend here, and it seems like both are just settling for defense. Ah, no, not quite. Sylvanas, again, she's on the move. Is trying to help out that bot push a bit. Lucky shouldn't push his luck here, no pun intended. Because if he goes too deep on this one, then he's going to be in trouble. Probably would be a good idea to also take down these walls to limit vision a bit. But once again, another camp is taken. And now it's time... Nah, told you, they're everywhere. And now they're going for the top again. So, yeah. Well, that was an easy one. Yeah, easy play on this one. Manticore level 16, that's gonna be a bit of a game changer, in particular once she locks in her level 20. Always assuming that Farfly Quiver in the meta here between the Korean and Chinese teams is also the weapon of choice. Next prison camp is up, 13 minutes in, and yep, now it's all... I mean, we are dead even on structures. Pretty even in experience. Urel already hopping forward. Let's see who gets the first hit. Look at Garrosh already. The stun, the space go with the follow-up, and Sonya just disappears. And then real trouble now. Once again, the coordination in the late game is just better for the Space-Time Warriors. They are moving in with the double kill. Mephisto and Sonya are both dead. Uther is trying to survive. The Space Goat with a hoppity-hop, but they are settling for the objective instead. Yeah, these kills as they keep coming are the biggest problem for the red team. Initially, they do well in the game. Oftentimes, they have the upper hand in, well, structures on the macro. But then in those later stage fights, they are just suffering. The coordination isn't there, someone stays a little bit too long, and all of a sudden they're losing a hero or two, and that puts them at a significant disadvantage that they just cannot overcome. They're trying to take the camp too, and yeah, they're getting a little bit greedy, but they should just be able to make that happen. It's another 3 seconds until Mephisto is back. They don't really dare to invade, so now the camp is taken and the objective is nearly locked in as well. Sonya jumped in, wow, with a leap too. But there's another strafe, and that's big damage coming out. Muggle is also, yeah, he's getting punished. So that's a kill. Maybe they got a bit too greedy on this one. Urel gets attacked as well. Everybody is a little bit low, jumps over, and Sonya is there to welcome them, but eats all the damage. Uther, he looks for the stun, he can't find it, and Uther is dead. Greymane, he tried to go for Sylvanas, but instead they're getting crushed here. What a fight and a turn again. Damn. Oh, they nearly had it. Check that battle out. Look at Greymane, look at Uther as they're trying to make the play. Lucky doesn't fall, Sylvana survives, and all of a sudden it's again so reminiscent of what happened in game number 2. They lose 4 heroes. They get the drop on Garrosh, and then they lose 4 shortly after. Acrobat, baby! We have Acrobat on level 20. Okay, Vala is just saying that wolf is getting really annoying. I mean, obviously Greymane goes for her. Red Riding Hood was always a thorn in the big bad wolf's side. So now she goes for Acrobat so that she can tumble a little bit through those fights and ensure that Greymane is not high on her heels with that. Also helps her, I suppose, against Uther a bit when he moves in again for that potential stun that he's trying to drop on them. But no Firefly Quiver is really interesting. Normally it's all about the range extension so that you get more value out of your Manticore. And it's been a while since I've seen that level 20. So, yeah. With that, we now have the play. 11 kills to 9. No level 20 yet for the red team. Now, they're working on it, and they're soon going to have the access to their level 20 talents. But in the meantime, they are already meeting a massive onslaught in the mid lane that drops the wall and gets made out of candy. So now the chance to slowly go for some keeps here. Up at the top, we have another cavalry doing work, and that's Greymane now defending with 2 more. But just look at the bot lane. This is where the real party starts. They want to get at least 1 keep out of this, and dropping the armor shield from the boss, that would help. Oh, tactical pause! Look at that. That couldn't have come at a worse moment in time. Now, that is bad news. If you have to pause in that situation, not sure what exactly happened here. If maybe someone dropped, but yeah, that is not a good moment to pause. Now, the rotation is coming from the top, as you can already tell. We have level 20 now on both sides, with the Bulwark of Light being used. The Hunter's Blunderbuss is in. Mimic has been taken. Mix and Fire for Lucio, upgrading his level 10. And Ignore Pain for Sonya. And this keep down here should not stand a chance. I mean, first and foremost, we have the cavalry nearly on full HP still, so they should get this one way or another. I suppose it's a bit of a question of whether they can lock down Lucky or not if they can get a kill. Again, the rotation is happening here from the middle, but I do not think that there's a chance to save that keep. So one way or another, the first armor shield is going to remove from the boss, and then they can try to make a play, maybe even for the game. Now, normally you don't do that on Aldrich Pass after only taking a single keep down. The problem is simply that those bosses regenerate. You don't even need Abathur with a level 7 on it. So very likely the blue team is going to fall back after they drop the keep here, maybe even previously, because again, the cavalry is still in play. But yeah, but that's still a bit of an awkward moment to pause the game. Huge damage, by the way, from, first of all, Vala. 68
68,000 at this point. 68k. Vala with strafe and everything else that she puts in is doing a ton of work. He has, of course, a lot of target at that front line too. We have Mephisto with the 44,000. That puts him into the driver's seat for the red team. So good damage output for him too, with a 38k as a follow-up from our boy Greymane. By the way, not too shabby what we're seeing from Lucio here again. 23,000 damage. If you compare that to what Sonya has, it's nearly matching her. And it's more damage than what we're seeing from Urel, just as a bit of an example. The lowest damage in the game so far is Malfurion. Yeah, he's a little bit on the sad side here. Poor Malfurion. Never lucky. I mean, again, he has other qualities, or so I'm told. Has at least a solid amount of heal. But yeah, let's see what happens once that we're resuming this one. Because I still think this is going to be the end of the keep. And then afterwards, they are going to retreat quickly, because you don't want to be locked into a fight here, especially with Lucio having the potential to chase you down with the help of stuns from Uther, maybe even a leap from Sonya. So it's going to be in the interest of Team LB to try and force a fight here, but at least at this point, I think the Space-Time Warriors are going to try to just simply retreat from the battle. Well, and we're back. Let's go. Seems like initially it was the red team that paused the game, but then Garrosh needed to go to the bathroom. So there was some serious pressure on the front liner of the blue team for various reasons, apparently. But as expected, they're trying to retreat here. Garrosh, now freshly relieved, is trying to run out of the fight. He's extra fast now. They're turning it. They're turning it. The strafe does so much work, but the Bulwark of Light saves most of them. There's Space Goat with another jump. Mephisto in trouble. But again, I don't think they can win this here anyways. I would be really surprised to see them go... well, maybe if they get a few more kills. They got 1, 2. But even with 2 kills, I don't think you're making the play for core here. I don't think you can, because you're just risking too much. What you can do, on the other hand, is exactly this. With Sylvana still in the game, they are saying, hey, we can rotate into the middle and try to take another keep down. So let's do that. And indeed they do. So the keep is down, and that is a second shield removed from the core. And that, of course, makes it much, much easier to attack this one now. And they are already bouncing straight to the bottom of the map to go for the boss. And once they have this one, they can definitely try to go for the death push. There's 23 seconds until Sonya is back. And the red team, I mean, what are you going to do at this point? They're taking their camp, but they can't make any big moves on the map. Not with a 3 versus 5 situation. It's just impossible. You gotta be careful that you're not getting killed. A staggered death would be lights out. But this is pretty much just... I mean, this is gonna be an insane push at the bot lane now. They can even ignore the objective. They have so many ways how to potentially play this now. It's a 5 versus 5, but the boss is going to hurt, and it's going to hurt a lot. They need kills, and they need them quickly. LB, they need the kills, and they need it now. But Sonya with the leap, and she doesn't connect it. She doesn't connect the leap. Now there's the strafe again, dropping them low, but Garrosh is dead. Garrosh is dead, and they can't get the counter kill. And there's Urel dropped, and all of a sudden they have a chance. They have an opportunity. Ooh, Lucio! Space Goat! Oh, that's 2 down, 3 down. Vala also bites the dust, but they at least get 1 counter kill. Lucio is dead. Now potentially a move, I guess, for the objective? Not even that. But they hold on. They hold on. Yeah, poor Garrosh comes in, gets taken down. And we got the big battle happening right here. Who's gonna take it? Well, spoiler alert, the boss claims it. So there's still some pressure in the middle. On any other map, what you would see right now is a move into the mid lane, take the keep down, and go for the core. All direct pass, a little bit different, but you can definitely go for the camp. And I gotta say, with 25 seconds on Vala, they might be able to fight back on this one, but it's not gonna be easy. They really have to rush it once that everybody is back. Lucky already gets pinged. They're like, dude, if you die now, then it's just lights out for us. So please, play this a little bit more carefully. Now, they even lost control over it for just a second. So that's even more time for the Space-Time Warriors to bring this back. Sylvanas is still at the top. Now, I can understand the impulse, but they need Sylvanas in that fight. Yeah, here's already the move. Straight in for it. So they stop the objective for now. LB, even with all the kills that they got, is not able to lock the objective in. And they want the team fight again. They're coming in for the team fight nearly immediately. Trying to push this back and go for the objective. Still big play with a lot happening here at the bottom of the map. And keep in mind that 2 of the armor shields are already removed. So that's the big difference between the 2 of them right now. 14 kills to 12. 26 kills now that we're 20 minutes into the game. Valla the entire time with one vault after another. Again, Acrobat as the level 20. And yeah, they're starting to push him here a little bit. Urel. I mean, at this point, Sonya with Leap just turns into budget Urel. And Urel gets fully stunned here, but gets the ult out. Wailing Arrow, Bulwark of Light. They try to turn it on Sonya again, but Garrosh just gets manhandled in these fights. Pushed back around. They go for Lulcio, and he's still alive. They're flipping Mephisto in. He jumps back out once more. Everybody is so low. It's insane. But Malfurion is the first one to fall. They want the counter kill, but with the double support that we see for the red team, they are still in play. The boss is still alive here. Urel is dead. Uther is dead. Everybody's dead and dying. They're trying to make the play for Sylvana. She jumps back out. Look how low they are. But they are the ones to drop Garrosh. And the boss has already dealt with everything here and is still looking Gucci. They're still sending Greymane back. First of all, as mentioned, they're insanely low, so they have to top off their own hit points. But they also have to try and make a play here. This game is getting a little bit incredible, honestly. Right now, it's Team LB that gets most of the kills. It's 15 to 15. Now we have 30 kills in this game. But it's just absolutely insane how the 2 supports for the red team are keeping them alive throughout all of this. It feels every time that we have a team fight that all that the Warriors need is a kill to snowball that fight completely. But they just can't lock that one kill in, no matter how low everybody is on the other side. And now, of course, you're looking at an object. I mean, this time they're going to get it. Garrosh is down for 14 seconds. They're not going to make that play. Instead, what happens is they're trying to push these lanes out a little bit. And I don't think that anybody is making a play for the boss up at the top. It's going to be some raiders that will enter the game soon. And now that we're 22 minutes in, yeah, those guys hurt. So it's just a question of how much damage can be done here. Top side, again, this is pressuring it out, forcing Sonya towards the top. But now it's all about the way that you defend this. It's a spicy game. It's a 2-0 lead in this winner bracket match between the Warriors and Team LB. I have no idea who's going to win this now. I just know that this push is going to do some work. And it's all about the next team fight here. I mean, eventually, if you take another 4 kills and you're the Warriors, then you just cross the map and you end it. But boy, they are starting to struggle a bit in this late game. They just have trouble killing anyone. Bulwark of Light is ruining a lot of the plays. Look at the damage output that we have from Valla and Mephisto. 112,081k. Yeah, mid lane gets defended first. So far, they're doing fairly well zoning them out. And I guess that keep at least should still survive. Jesus Christ, that guy is hitting hard. Oh my god. That thing is hitting like a truck. At the bot lane, we still have a fort, so that's gonna fall. But they're getting the keep here. Insane. Yeah, there it is. Keep is down, which pretty much means that they're getting 2. If that one is already getting dropped that easily, like, look at him chunking. Look at him chunking. He's going through structures like hot butter through cheese. I mean, baby. Yeah, they get that. But again, all that they gotta do is get Mephisto in a good position. Get, yeah, also Greymane in a good spot, and they can take this one. Holy hell. So, down at the bottom of the map, here's the play to maybe drop another keep. I don't think they can. First one is definitely destroyed. This one they should be able to hold. But now, where's the next fight? Are we going for a boss play? Is anybody daring to engage, move out, and try to get the connect? Maybe a Sonya leap at some point, or what are we gonna see? Top side again, yeah, if this comes through, then the keep is definitely toast. But they're going for the battle. Of course they are. This is an Asian game after all. They're coming in and they're trying for the fight. Already the focus onto Urel. Has not used the ult yet, just gets the heal from Malfurion. Is trying to save it up for as long as possible. Yeah, and there's this done. So they get the first stun out, but yeah, they are pushing. Top keep is down. Top keep is eliminated. Nicely done. So 2 keeps gone on both sides here on Alderac Pass. Is game number 3 the map where it all ends, or are we going to map number 4? It all comes down to one team fight at one point or another. And again, the mad focus on Garrosh, and he's dead. Bulwark of Light, the leap, and the attempt for Vala. It doesn't work out, but now they're getting chased, and they're getting chased hard. And that's a kill, and that just has to be game. That just has to be it right now. Sylvanas is pushing the mid lane. She's trying to create another point, and they are not going for it. They're not going for the core. They're trying to go for boss. They're going for boss right now. It's a big wave that's coming here. But how is the blue team playing this out now? Once the boss is taken, that bot lane is going to suffer. But if we're talking about waves, that one is also something that you at least need to consider. So down here, they're trying to make a play for Sonya. And I suppose they're going to send a few more back. They're trying to end the game here. And the red, if they lose this now. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? So they are going straight for the core, trying to drop it. Everybody else already abandoned the boss at the bottom, but it has been taken. So this is going to be the lights out move right here. The core on the blue team side is already suffering. Yeah, Sylvanas is dead. Urel is dead too. This is going to be game. With the boss moving through 26 minutes in, we are going to see game number 4. There is just no doubt about it anymore. The blue team was trying to go for a Hail Mary approach towards the core. It didn't quite work out. And now we have to move straight up for the game. They are putting a point. Yeah, again, Lucio is dead, but Vala is also down, and that's the main damage dealer. There's no armor shields left, and that is just, that's it. That's the end of it. We're gonna go game 4, everybody. We are seeing 4 games at least in this series as Team LB is trying for the reverse sweep. The Bulwark of Light once again towards the end as Alterac Pass gets decided by the red team. Cursed Hollow, game number 4. Okay, guys, here we go. We got our 4th map, so finally LB has managed to win one. They were ahead a few times, but they could never really take the victory. Yeah, every single time before they were able to just press for core, they got defeated and they lost the team fights. They turned it around on Alterac Pass, and at the end, it was the blue team that had to yield. It looked very good for them for a long time. Taking down 2 of the opponent's keeps was a really big step into the right direction, but they just couldn't win team fights after that. And therefore, the first point on the board for Team LB. Now, with that, we're heading into Cursed Hollow. Also a pretty cool map. One of my favorites. Double boss maps are very cool. Alterac Pass is Alterac Pass is always a little bit weird as a map to me, but Cursed Hollow is one of my favorites and always has been. It's really strange because you would think that I hate this map by now. Back in the days of the alpha, when we already had the first few tournaments, there were, how many maps were in the pool? 3, 4, something like that. And it just, because we had so few maps in the map pool back then, teams in tournaments were allowed to pick a map again. So the starting map was allowed to be played again. So we had literally best of 3 series that were consistently played out on Cursed Hollow. So you would think that by now I'm totally sick and tired of this one. But I like it. It's a lot of fun. The tribute mechanic is kind of cool. You can delay things. You can let one go. You don't have to fight for every single one of them. You have the bosses up on the map. It's like big but not too big. You can play with globals. You can focus on team fights. A lot of corridors that you can try to abuse. So a lot of fun here. Malfurion gets banned for the first time. I'm very curious what happens when we're heading into the semifinals of the winner bracket, when we're heading into the winner bracket final. Just when we, in general, proceed throughout the tournament, which role Malfurion is going to play. Because I've been talking in the previous games how he is big deal in the Korean and Chinese meta, but we have seen him go through the draft multiple times now. This is the first time that he gets banned. And of course we only get a bit of a snapshot here because we have 2 teams playing up against each other, but we don't really know if the other teams are going to mirror the priorities that we're seeing here. So time will tell, but it's kind of cool already. Now Dehaka, this time he gets picked as a first pick, was completely ignored on Alterac Pass. When we have Brightwing, for the first time she's making an approach here. Yeah, that's probably one of the changes from the European to the Korean and Chinese meta that is, for now, the biggest. That the priority on Brightwing is nowhere near what it is in the European scene right now. European teams love to play with Brightwing. And yeah, disregarding the map. Junkrat makes it in for the first time too. Has been banned out over and over again, and this is another map where you could have expected a ban, considering that he gets so much value out of his mines and also the boss spots. in those corridors around the tributes. Even an Ana ban. I mean, they're really, really trying to now... I mean, you can't support choke. Times where you could go for a support choke are long gone. So, very... Yeah, the amount of supports that gets banned here is kind of insane. But again, Ana, if you get Liming in, if you just get the Nano boost, then it can be super annoying. But what is the blue team gonna get rid of now? Alright, there's the Uza ban. So yeah, they're going hard on these. The double support play. I mean, we have 5 supports banned out. So they don't have a support yet. They still ban Uther because they don't want to go up against this Uther main tank double support setup again. Vala gets taken. What's left? You can go Deckard Kane, you can go more. I mean, there's still playing left. Deckard Kane, Morales, Anduin. So we have plenty of good supports up for grabs. Deckard wouldn't really be too bad, honestly. His zoning is real nice. They get May at the front line, so a couple of slows also. Kind of combos also well with Vala. Gives her a bit more space too. And, well, what do we get for the blue team? Yeah, because they still need to make their support choice. Deckard Kane, as I said, would be a good one, but we have a couple of options for them. At this point, I don't really think you need to go for Anduin unless you're really afraid that Junkrat is going to get one hit in after another. And is it the old geezer? No, it's Anduin, the crybaby. Alright. Anduin is taken, Genji as well, so a bit more aggression against the backline. Vala needs to be careful with this one.
Heroes.
Game number 4, the Warriors against LB. We got on the left side our front line with Johanna and Dehaka. And damage pushed out by Tychus and Genji. So Tychus, again with Odin, can help a lot. Anduin also pretty important piece of the puzzle. Whereas on the right side of the map, the red team is currently relying heavily on Junkrat. Junkrat is really, really not good with his mines here. So we got Junkrat, Vala for the damage, Brightwing for the heals, and Mei, Chen at the front line. Okay, so this is gonna be another match point for the Space-Time Warriors. And, well, let's see what they can do in game number 4. They were close. They were really close to close this out with a 3-0. But, well, finally a point for the red team. Honestly, they deserve it. Game number 1 was insanely even. Game number 2, they had the upper hand. So a 3-0 wouldn't have been a result that really reflected the performance from the two teams here. But, yeah. I mean, either way, we got still a bit of a brawl in the middle. Obviously, now the rotations are going to start. Genji with the money pick is already making his way over. And we have Tychus taking control of the top lane for now. No shocking movements on level... Oh, well, on level 1. The Panda... Nah, he's fine. He's fine. He's taking a lot of damage, but Fat Illidan is still okay. Hasn't been dropped. Vala with the puncturing arrow. They're playing this a lot. They're playing this actually a lot. This is the second time that Vala gets played, and this is the second time that we're seeing the arrow build. Europe is still very reliant on the multi-shot build. Now, we've seen both. Don't get me wrong. We've seen both. But the tendency in the European side of the meta is to go for the multi-shot build always over the arrow build. We see certain exceptions. That's definitely a thing. But as a trend, it's way more multi-shot. Like, usually it's just more of a surprise when an arrow build gets played, and that's even true for Battlefield of Eternity. But over here, this is now the second time, so we're definitely going to keep our eye on that a bit. Yeah, full Overwatch already up at the top. I mean, we got 2 Overwatch heroes against 1 Overwatch hero. So, given the old Overwatch rule, the red team has the better draft. More Overwatch, more win. If that holds true for this game too, we'll find out. On level 4, we got the Withering Flames. Master Assassin again for Tychus. And as the camp crushes through the lane, they are destroying both towers and the gate. So again, a decent start for the red team. 7 stacks for Jojo on the level 1 already. So if she can keep that up, then good for her. A lot of sustain that we saw for Johanna, especially on Sky Temple. Not that it really helped her there, but it's of course incredible if you're playing. If you're diligent about those globes, it's absolutely insane the amount of sustain that you're going to get out of it. With the first objective now popping up, the blue team is going to try and return the favor. And if you ever ask yourself why exactly is Junkrat banned all the time, this is a good example. Because he is just annoying as hell and is pissing everybody off 6 days to Sunday. The hero offers a lot of control, and especially his displacement is just such a huge problem when you have to fight in small corridors. And that's exactly what we're seeing here. So, first tribute is up, and it's party time. Dehaka is at the bottom. We have two globals, Brightwing and Dehaka on the map. Genji is... Oh, Genji and Brightwing are both down. Damn. Kill for a kill up at the top. And Junkrat again with the control. Now, with Brightwing gone, they don't have a support now, but they're trying to create the space for Vala to get the channel through, which doesn't happen. Oh, and Jojo missed the flashlight. They take Mei down. That's at least a nice... well, they take Vala down. Hello, team. 2 kills. Not too bad. Nice consolation prize. Anduin with the save. Oh, grenades. Oh, it was so close. They even sent Dehaka towards the top in an attempt to get even another kill. But yeah, they are going full brawl on this one. 3 kills to 1. That first tribute was already a little highlight here. Yeah, I like it. A lot of action between the two teams as they're really going for the big brawl. And good coordination too. Now, it was kind of sad that the shield glare didn't really work out for Jojo, that she was a bit short of interrupting the channel. But at least they got a few kills out of it, so now they had an experience. And guess what? The next tribute is already spawning. So that one is spawning in a pretty good position for the red team, which could give them a 2-0 lead on the tribute count. And by the way, this time Hot Pursuit. This time we get the Hot Pursuit on level 7. So a lot of players have started to abandon that after Blizzard nerfed it in the last patch, but you still see it every now and then. European players have experimented with alternatives. We've seen one used in the last game here in this series too. But right now, Hot Pursuit is still grabbed. 2 percentage points is what you get now compared to the 2.5 that you had previously. There's the interrupt, but Jojo paid a price for it. And this is difficult to fight into for the blue team. The position is just better for Team LB. But they're trying. They're trying to make the move for it. And now they go for Genji, and he needed healing and didn't get it. The Panda still alive, and now they need to get out of this one. And it might be tricky, because if Mei gets another slide, then they could potentially lock another one down. There's the slows already. Jojo gets another interrupt, but they are really asking for it now. Dehaka is dead, and that's kill number 2 in this battle for the red team. So they are still behind in experience. Oh, they're even making the boss play. All right, ballsy. Yeah, that could have been attacked by the Warriors. But they're really going for some, I mean, again, punch after punch from them now. They're going for some quick plays here. Now Genji at the bottom, they're taking their own 2. Falling Sword for Jojo. We're going to see the Light Bomb Falling Sword combo from Anduin and Johanna. And on top of that, look at that. The adaptation coming out for Dehaka. Going tank mode, baby. They want to have that tanky front line here. So Dehaka is changing things up a little bit. And Genji has gone for the Dragon Blade. We get the Ice Wall. And the only one that has made it... Ah, there it is. The Riptire. I was about to say, the only one that has made a choice yet is Junkrat. But yeah, it goes for the Riptire here. But definitely some changes now. Adaptation for Dehaka. They go through the bot lane, and the tribute is spawning. And this one, they have to fight for. If the Warriors lose the tribute, it's going to be a curse. Nicely done by Anduin. Nice move. If Tigers gets isolated, I don't think we're seeing a kill in immediately, but they were already lying in wait here at the side. So, yeah. Jojo creates a little bit of space. Panda's likely going to go for the interrupt. So far, we have him channel. Yeah, and they're just piecing out. They just said, alright, this is not going to happen. So, screw that. Boss is still doing some work. It's 1 tribute against 2, 3 kills to 3. And they seem to be trying to go for Mei here. Without success, at least for now. Can they drop her a little bit low? They can. Brightwing comes in. And that is, at least for now, the end of the gank. So top side, Dehaka against the Panda. And I kind of like it. I mean, it's 3 kills to 3, and it's a pretty important map between the two of them. The second match point for the Warriors, and they are pulling ahead in experience. At least they've taken the lead there. But the next tribute is, of course, another one they gotta fight for. And the position is slightly better As is over on the left side for the blue team. Now, the problem for them is they lost the top fountain already. So it's going to be a bit tricky for them to get easy sustain. They would have to move into the mid lane and tap the fountain there if they want to make a play for it. And there it is. Ooh, they're even losing the fort, aren't they? Yeah, the Panda is going big on this one. And that's a fort gone, which means that not only... they leave him a little bit more time. Jojo's making her way over. If the Panda drops that fort, it means there's not only going to be no sustain on that lane, but also no fallback option to receive at least some assistance from that fort. So, yeah, that could be an issue. And Jojo is also taking a bit of a beating here. Be careful. Has to pop her Laws of Hope early. And Dehaka is still pushing the bottom as he should. There's a level 13 talents, and that's the big one now. With level 13 in your hands, you have the talent advantage. Of course, if Team LB can just slow this down and poke them out a bit, they might get level 13 for that fight too. But for now, it is a push in the mid lane with all of this. Top fort has now been destroyed. And talk about forts that are going the way of the Dodo Bird. We have more damage at the bottom of the map as Dehaka is trying to take one down too. Here comes the save. Ice Wall hitting two. Can they follow up on it? Riptire's on the way. And there's the Falling Sword. Light Bomb this time not used at the same time. Fort in the middle takes damage. Dehaka joins the battle and they might make the play for Mei here. The Panda is also low. Mei's in trouble. Where's the heal when you need it? And it's a kill. The Panda is down. And now they are on the move. A second kill as Mei gets dropped by Genji. They're even trying to go for the Fruit Fly, but the drag doesn't connect. And the fort in the middle has just been annihilated by the camp that was taken a few more seconds ago. So all of a sudden, things have changed here. The momentum of the game definitely swinging in favor of the Space-Time Warriors. We have them with a second tribute. 5 kills to 3, 2 forts eliminated. That's a pretty good spot to be in. The lead in experience has also been increased. So they're looking at a really, really nice position in this game where they could potentially even try and take down the fountain at the top. I don't think that any of the bosses are going to be up anytime soon. Now we got another minute and 20 before those are back, but you can at least go for the Siege Giants, and that's what they're currently doing here. So yeah, nicely done. Alright, so level 13 talents already as mentioned, and now we're pretty much looking at... It feels like these tributes are spawning way faster than usual. Tribute is gone, and then the fights that are just happening every single time make it seem so short. 20,000, 21,000 damage for Tychus. Vala is trying to catch up. She's currently sitting at 19k. And this is a curse tribute. Now, with Siege Giants being escorted by Dehaka, it looks to me like at the top we're going to see another fort being destroyed, or at least severely damaged. Down here, the gank attempt against Jojo didn't really work out, and Junkrat is still getting the damage connected. But yeah, Dehaka is going to make sure that that top fort is not going to make it, or at least going to be really low. Are they letting... No, they're not letting it happen. Tychus needs to be real careful. He's a bit far out there. Gets another interrupt through. Good for him. Dehaka is still up at the top. And if they are not careful, then they're going to get cursed here. And the Panda kicks away, but could not really get any value out of it. So here's the level 16 talent. They got to fall back now. They got to fall back, and they might even lose the Panda. Already we're having some damage coming out. Panda in trouble. Genji is a bit low though too, but they're trying to make the play. Reptile, the Ice Wall, connecting with only one. And where's the Haka going? Where are you headed, my friend? Adaptation and everything is getting used here as they're trying to escape. They have the talent advantage, but it doesn't show here. Light Bomb with Genji over Jojo this time, and they're coming in for the kill against Mei. Mei is down, and so is Genji, but everybody's low on the red team. LB in real trouble as they're trying to disengage here. Another grenade. Vala down. That's the second kill. Top fort has fallen. The tribute is still up, and they could take the curse here. But with another kick, we're seeing a play for Jojo, who's able to get the Iron Skin out and survives for another second. But can Fat Illidan drop her? And the answer is no. The fight just doesn't end. Someone channel that tribute, please. There we have it. Jojo is going to try and get it. And it is curse, baby. And that's problematic for the top lane. Mei has to deal with it. Where's the grenade? The Panda, he's alive. The Panda is alive. All the forts are gone. 7 kills, 2-4. And the mid lane gets attacked now. We got Manticore in. Level 16 talents are finally available for LB. It's a 5 versus 5 on the map. And the big question is, of course, what can the Warriors do here? Only stealing the Siege Giants away, that's not gonna cut it. You need to do a bit more with this. The Haka is doing what he's supposed to. He moves straight off to the side lane and is trying to escort another wave through. Chen is mirroring his movements and is meeting him there. But we have some damage down here with 26 seconds left and another wave taken. So yeah, Genji takes the wave down, bit of damage on the keep. Top side gets attacked as well. They're trying to get as much structural damage in as they possibly can. And of course, they are taking all of that experience too. So now we're looking at level 18 versus 16, and they expose the keep at the bottom of the map. Bosses are going to do so much work. They're hoping to get a bit more done, but I think that's probably going to be the extent of it. Moving back for now could result in them trying to make a play for the boss. Now, the interesting thing is, since there is no real global on the side of the red team, if the Haka just postures at the top a bit and the team threatens boss at the bot lane, eventually LB has to move down to contest this. And then, if they don't commit, the Haka could make a play for the top keep. But instead, the red team isn't even trying, really? Yeah, I mean, they're going boss for boss. Now, the problem is that this one up at the top still has the entire wall intact, so that's the difference between the two. But both teams are making a play for boss, and one team has a global, the other one doesn't really. Yes, Brightwing is there, but it's not quite the same thing. As you can tell, the Haka is already moving down to use his wave clear and make it even easier for this entire wave to connect. Red team should show up in force to try and defend the keep. And given the fact that we're only 14 minutes into the game, the boss isn't really strong enough to make a big difference, so I suppose they can pull that off. It's quite interesting that nobody deals with the top lane at all, but look at the experience gap. That is really dangerous now. All that the Space-Time Warriors gotta do is win one more map, and they are in a great spot for it. They nearly lose the Haka, but Anduin saves him. That's also a little bit of time wasted, though, as the boss is already on the keep. The Riptire, they're really trying to burn it down, but now level 20 talents are available for the blue team. And that's where the real problem lies, because now we got the upgraded Light Bomb, the upgraded Falling Sword, the boss is down, and it seems like they're not going to stop here. They're going to try and go for core with this one. And you can't blame them. There's still a few hit points left on the boss, and they got level 20 talents. That's a huge power spike that they have. But the boss will disappear in a couple of seconds. They need kills, and they're getting the first one. Mei is dead, and the shields are gone. This is trouble. This is real trouble for the red team. They won the third map, but can they win the fourth? It doesn't seem like it. They're doing what they can to stay alive a bit longer, but the core is losing hit points, and it's losing hit points quickly. 72%. Mei is down 30 seconds until she's back. The keep at the top lane for the blue team side has still survived, has not been dropped by the boss, and down here the fight just continues with the Panda dying. The Panda down, and so the hopes and dreams are slowly getting crushed of the red team to make a comeback. Junkrat dies, and so does the core. This is it, a 3-1 victory in the first round of the winner bracket for the Space-Time Warriors, everybody. Nicely done, GG, and well played.
Thank you everybody for watching the video today. I hope that you enjoyed the show and the commentary. And keep in mind that the spoiler protection that is going to run for the rest of the video is made possible by all the support on patreon.com. So guys, if you want to support my work, if you want to help me start new projects and keep the spoiler protection in place, please consider heading over to patreon.com/Khaldor. There's also a link in the YouTube description, and check that out. Thanks in advance, and see you guys next time with more esports coverage here on Khaldor TV. Have a great day.